Two narcissists in the same arena, both obsessed with numbers, just a different demeanor. Social media is their battlefield, stats the score. In the game of followers, they're both so sure. It's a numbers game, both playing the same. Victim card shuffled, no shame in the blame. Crafting false tales to twist and disguise. Behind every post a web of lies. One's got the words, sharp and cruel. The other's hands, using force as a tool. Both manipulate women caught in their snare. Twisting truth, always so unaware. It's a numbers game, both playing the same. Victim card shuffled, no shame in the flame. Crafting false tales to twist and disguise. Behind every post a web of lies. One's ego bruised, seeks revenge with a fury. Wants to bring the other down, no matter how dirty. Justice and victims just a smokescreen. It's all about the payback, the ultimate scheme. It's a numbers game, both playing the same. Victim card shuffled, no shame in the flame. Crafting false tales to twist and disguise. Behind every post a web of lies. The other thrives on a legend, feeling untouchable. Every setback a story, his power seems indestructible. Feeding off the hype, feeling invincible. Believes he's unstoppable, but his ego's so criminal. It's a numbers game, both playing the same. Victim card shuffled, no shame in the flame. Crafting false tales to twist and disguise. Behind every post a web of lies. MME and MMO, they're one and the same. Facebook groups of hate, where they both soak the flame. Victim shaming in circles, no room for remorse. Both dodging accountability, staying on course. One's out for revenge, the other's in denial. Both lost in their game, consumed by their guile. The twisted rivalry, a cycle of hate. Both caught in the drama, sealing their fate. It's a numbers game, both playing the same. Victim card shuffled, no shame in the flame. Editing lives for a perfect disguise. Behind every post a web of lies. Two faces, one game, their ego's the prize. In a world of illusions where the truth never flies. The battle rages on, but neither will win. In the quest for revenge, they're both drowning in sin.
Hey everyone, I'm just here to do a quick disclaimer, so bear with me for a second while I read you our fair use disclaimer.
Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute and might otherwise be infringing. The copyright laws of the United States recognize as a fair use of the copyright content. Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act states, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 106 and 106A, the fair use of a copyrighted work, including use by reproduction in copies of phone records or by any other means specified by the section, for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright.
Pack your bags, we're hitting the road with Chris, Boston, and Brandon. We'll see the horrors unfold. From haunted houses to the darkest scenes, immersive horror is more than just dreams. Buckle up, we're on the road, on a road trip, let the fear unfold. Extreme haunts and ghosts we'll find in the rearview mirror, leave the world behind. Through eerie woods and ghost towns lost, discussing horror movies, no matter the cost. The thrill of the scare, the rush of the fright, we're chasing darkness all through the night. Buckle up, we're on the road, horror road trip, let the fear unfold. Extreme haunts and ghosts we'll find in the rearview mirror, leave the world behind. Through eerie woods and ghost towns lost, discussing horror movies, no matter the cost. The thrill of the scare, the rush of the fright, we're chasing darkness all through the night. Buckle up, we're on the road, horror road trip, let the fear unfold. Extreme haunts and ghosts we'll find in the rearview mirror, leave the world behind. Paranormal whispers in the dead of night, Chris, Boston, Brandon chasing every fright. Lights flicker, shadows grow on this horror road. There's so much to know. From coast to coast, every haunted sight, immersive horror, oh what a sight. Disgusting chills that crawl up your spine. With Horror Road Trip, it's always time. Buckle up, we're on the road. Horror Road Trip, let the fear unfold. Extreme haunts and ghosts we'll find in the rearview mirror. Leave the world behind. So hit subscribe and join the ride. With Horror Road Trip, there's no place to hide. Every scream and every ghostly slip, come along for the ultimate horror road trip.
What is up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Happy
Hello.
Taco Tuesday. What's up, Boston? What's up, Doctor? The doctor has left the house right when we started. Hi, everybody in chat. Got a bunch of you today. It's good seeing all of you. I see a few new names in there, too. Great to have you with us. We have a lot to unpack tonight. And few little house rules for tonight. Please be respectful in chat. I totally understand if a lot of people have a lot of anger towards the individual we're about to talk about tonight, and sometimes it is hard to hold that back. I am going to do my best, as well as the rest of the panel, to hold them back, our feelings on that, and just kind of drop straight facts. If in chat, I'm not going to censor stuff, but if in chat you say a first and a last name, your comment won't make it up on the screen. So if you want your comment to be seen, I'm not guaranteeing they're all going to be shown, but if you want your comment to be seen, make sure you don't have a first and last name of the person you're talking about in that comment. That being said, I guess like one of the big things is that we have to remember, you know, not everybody is, I don't want to say invested, but has this constantly going on to know the full story. Like they only hear bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be important to start at the beginning. And so with that, let's just do a brief history real quick to where the admin of MME first came to this community, and that was back in 2018. I was a mod for McKamey Manor at the time. I did not run his screening when he was supposed to go through a tour. That was something that he Russ did on his own. I think I was out of town or something, but either way, he got through. His tour was a pretty bad fail. Like, I mean, he wasn't, in all fairness, he was not going to make it. Holy cow, you got some typing magic going on there.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
I wasn't typing.
You weren't typing?
No.
Oh, okay.
I moved my keyboard a little bit. Sorry.
So he went through a tour in 2018 and failed miserably. Now, Russ was never going to put him through a show as it was. He was never making it out of the front yard. That was known to me. I got a text message about it. I believe I even mentioned it in other lives that we did. But still, he fell asleep on the front lawn. So whether he was making it or not, it was a fail on his behalf. It was extremely embarrassing. And that's what hurt his ego, right? And after that event happened, he he got on his little warpath. And we saw like one of the first lies from him right around then. And that was shortly after his tour. He did a video sitting there holding a bunch of money. And he tried saying that the haters paid him to infiltrate the manor. So, I mean, that's right. Like, does that surprise you, Boston?
No, not at all.
It's something that's so fucking stupid, but that's what he would do, right? And from there, he quickly tried to find a group to fit in, and he was shunned by almost all of them. Now, Brandon, were you around in the groups at that time? The anti-MM ones?
In 2019-ish?
Yeah, it was between... So he went in 2018, and yeah, it carried into 2019. He was kind of trying to find his home.
Well, okay, so I remember when he went, because that was like widely kind of publicized that was the funniest, most ridiculous, like, quote unquote, tour that had gone on at that time. And it was like, I remember receiving a copy of that video as like, can you believe what this, what this joke of a subhuman did, right? Like, that's what was sent to us. Okay. Right. And so we honestly thought that that's kind of what MM had kind of turned into, was kind of a joke when that happened, because that's what it looked like. It looked like a joke. I had at the time I didn't believe that it was real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I get why.
Well, yeah, because who would act like that big of a baby during a daggone show? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what it was. It was a 4-year-old throwing a temper tantrum, it seemed like. Right? Yes. And that's kind of what was... Anyways, go ahead.
So he tries finding these groups, right? Eventually he decides, okay, I'm going to start my own group. However, Exposing McCamey Manor was a group that already existed. That's run by a person named JM, who was once a person that ran a group called Truthers with Josh Owens and Dan Trulove. Now, this is back 2018 to about 2020, okay? In that time, there was a fundraiser. I want to say it was around 2020, and it was for a child who had cancer. And there was a person that he wasn't an admin in any of the groups, but he was just a very active member of the community. Went by all different names. I'm just going to use the initials JT because that's what seemed to really stick for him. He brought the attention to the community about this child with cancer. It was a family friend. And they started a fundraiser. And now every morning JT would post stuff on his personal Facebook page that this little girl would read in the morning, and it'd always be some uplifting message or something. And Justin was aware of this. And he went, and I don't want to get censored on YouTube, pornographic images under the post that this child he knew was going to be reading all the time. And so if we think about the events that are going on currently now, and we are also going to talk about those just in case you don't know, this is just showing that this pattern was happening back in 2018 to 2020.
Right.
Do you got anything you want to fill in? I know you weren't really around at this time, Boston. I just don't want to feel like I'm ignoring you.
No. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't around at this time. But
yeah, so a lot of these stories are new to you too, probably. Because it's not something I talked about, right?
Not something you talked about, but I had talked about it with some of our other friends that had, been in the community back then. I just want to make sure for anyone just tuning in, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious with the title of the video, but we're kind of just going through the history of the admin of the MME, McKamey Manor Exposed Group, and kind of the red flags that had happened. I think they're more than red flags. And how we got to where we are today.
So MME starts up. Okay. Back then it's going, there's also Exposing McKamey Manor. Truthers is out there. There is a podcast that starts called Surviving Life. That's ran by a man named Ron Swanson. Now, at this time, the MM community really wasn't on YouTube. It was all Facebook Lives and Facebook private groups and all that. But they hadn't really made their way to YouTube until Ron came along. And Ron started working with Josh Owens, who is in chat with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. And they started doing a series of interviews, which is similar to what we do with Rise and Fall. They kind of just broke down segments, and each one went on, and it was a very good series that they did. Justin wanted to be a part of it, and I think 1 or 2 episodes he was, until Ron kind of gave him the boot. But what followed next is history that we're seeing now. Justin did everything in his power with alts. I believe the name was Joe Smitty. He used, similar to the Peter Franks. He did everything he could to take down Ron's YouTube channel. And he did, successfully. Ron went away for some time. At the same time, he started targeting people like JM, and Dan, True Love, and Josh Owens, and JT, who were all people that were running these anti-MM groups. And not only was he attacking the creators of these groups, right? But there was times that people that were just in the community, subscribers, followers, whatever, that he began to slut shame some of them. He began to post nudes of some of them. Does this sound similar?
It sounds so familiar. Yes, very familiar. The whole before the whole slut shaming thing, just the trying to take down these other groups that have a shared mission of yours, supposedly, right? You're all anti-MM, but wanting to take down these other groups because they rejected you as a person. And that's the same thing we're going through now. People are still trying to wrap their heads around, why are you using an alt and sending Russ information? Why are you trying to be on his side on certain things just because you hate us that much? Right? Like, what's more important, taking down McKamey Manor and being a voice for the victims, or personal vendettas because your ego was bruised?
Right. I forgot Fat Dookie. That was another channel that was around that time. And yes. And it's like, the only thing I can chalk it up to is, the ego being bruised, but he wants payback at Russ, and he wants to be the one to deliver it. And that is why he is doing this stuff.
Yeah, and that comment I just put up, I mean, the going after people's children, that's also something that has clearly been happening for years. Yeah.
Who is Ron Swanson? Ron Swanson is he Swedish? He's from another country. He's a YouTuber. Usually
He's not Swedish.
He's not Swedish.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
No.
is he Irish?
Yes, he's Irish.
But he's not. But he's not from Ireland. I think he's from Sweden.
He's got a pretty thick Irish accent, though.
Yeah, but
He's
not-
European.
I
Let's
know-
just call him European.
I know the accent doesn't match the country he's in.
Weird.
Oh, I thought. Oh, Scotland.
Scotland.
was.
There we go.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. So, he was around for some time. He did a series. After he went away,
Sorry.
so then the thing is like these groups and these people are getting taken down, and people just don't want to deal with Justin anymore, and they stop, and they fall off the face of the earth. The McCamey Manor lives on, continues. Justin lives in this little bubble of MME that basically goes stagnant from 2020 till we fast forward to 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of brings us to this part. So 2022, Hulu starts approaching a bunch of us about an upcoming documentary. At this point, I think after I'm already there, Brandon's already on, Melissa's already on. So the majority of us are already signed on to it. And I was bullshitting with the director and the producer one night, and they just said, anybody else that would want to talk? And I told them, I said, I know a guy, he's more of a joke, but if you're looking for a little bit of comic relief and just to show how crazy some of the people are out there, maybe he will. And they said, yeah, hook us up with it. So I do that.
Well, I know a few of us objected to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of people weren't happy with me with that.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I take the blame on that one, guys.
But I got where you were coming from. I remember when you talked to me about it, and we were talking about, because at the time it was before the documentary came out, and you didn't know everyone that was going to be in it or not, like who was going to make the cut.
No,
and you were referring to Justin. You told me that, I was the one who kind of brought his name up, but I was thinking more along like, the Tiger King series, and everyone knows Ski-Doo guy. The jet ski guy.
That's
right?
exactly who I envisioned.
Like we had that
in my head.
conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to share that story because we had that conversation before the documentary even came out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of who he was. Kind of who he ended up being.
Well,
Well,
I think we all kind of, because I was pissed. I was pissed at him for what he did to us back in 2020, 2021, right? But nothing's happened since then, and I think me personally, I kind of was like, okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit, right? In the hopes that he had changed.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard stories of him, some pretty bad stories too, but at the same time, I had heard so many stories about all these names and all these people that like did the shady stuff to each other, and years back in the anti-MM community, and it was hard for me to, as an outsider, to know who did what to who and what was legit and what was a rumor. And then B, I figured years had passed, just like Brandon said, years had passed. Maybe, he's grown, he's matured. I don't know.
Yeah. Mama B says, do you regret sometimes coming out and speaking? Like after everything that happened, it doesn't scare you with people like Justin.
I want to answer that question too when you're done.
Okay. For me, I don't regret anything about coming out and speaking. People like Justin are, in my eyes, just as bad as Russ McCamey. And what we do at Horror Road Trip is expose the bad guys and not go away. Mm-hmm. So we aren't going away like these other groups did in 2020. Nothing is going to stop us. We are continuing to move forward, and we will not be scared, and we will not back down to anything. Go on, Brandon.
Well, no, I echo the sentiment of not regretting at all. I don't regret one bit about speaking out. And God knows I'm not scared of Justin. I mean, anyways, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, what does concern me is when he makes direct threats to my family, which he has. He's texted, he's emailed threats, he's sent threatening packages to my house. He's sent threatening letters to my house. This stuff is criminal. And that's why I filed charges against him, right? Because of the stuff that he's done. So, and it worries me for my family. Now, I've already taken, I've had to take appropriate measures in order to, protect myself and my family from him in case he does come. But, when he doxes me, like, what is it, 7 times now that he's doxed me?
Yeah.
It's even less about him and about, what other crazy people might decide just to, I don't know, show up. So that concerns me. But is it worth seeing these bad people get accountability? I mean, that's a risk you got to take, and it's a risk I'm willing to take to make sure that these bad people face some sort of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the stuff that Brandon just talked about, we are going to go into more detail with all of it. So that was kind of just so that you all understand why we're here tonight and why we're not backing down. So, Boston, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Just that, kind of echoing what both of you said, but we are, if you go to our website, www.mckameymanorroadtrip.com, you'll see the header, and it says a voice for the voices not heard. That's what we strive to do when it comes to anything McKamey Manor related on this channel. This channel is not all about just exposing McKamey Manor, but when it comes to anything McKamey Manor related, it's about raising those voices up, being a voice for people that maybe don't feel comfortable sharing, because there are a lot of scary people in this community, unfortunately. And yeah, I think no more victims has always been my goal. No more victims. And sadly, people are being victimized by someone who is acting as if he is the go-to person to get information on anything anti-McKamey Manor, and it's dangerous because people start talking to him or get involved, and next thing you know, they're being targeted.
Yes. All right, so Hulu is done filming at this point on our timeline. All right, we all went, we filmed, and right around the time of filming wrapping is when our friends Reckless Ben and Danny Burke start their series. Now, at this point, McKamey Manor Road Trip isn't a thing. We have Horror Road Trip that does anything but talk about McKamey Manor. Exposing McKamey Manor is still up, but it's not really an active group at this time. Rejects is still around, not really active. So is MM Talk. None of these groups are really active. MME, Justin doesn't do a whole lot, but I'd say out of all of them, that's the one that maybe once a month something's being posted in. So of course, Ben, being an investigative journalist, he goes through McKamey Manor and then is looking for answers from anybody, especially people that don't like Russ. So why not reach out to?
Well, and I'll add speculation, but also I think he may have mentioned it in his docuseries. Ben may have mentioned it in his docuseries. But when you go through that screening process, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brennan and Chris and anyone here watching who's former mods for Russ, but part of it is like you kind of get the heads up, like, watch out for the haters and don't go in this group and don't be in that group. So it probably sparked Ben's interest, and like obviously there's another side to all this.
So Yes, Boston, you're very correct. And because of how much of a colorful character Justin is, Russ likes to talk about him and use him as an example. Like, don't be a wolf. Like he mentions his name specifically. So it wouldn't really be much of a shock at all if Russ did in fact mention Wolf's name, which led Ben to go and find him.
Mm-hmm.
So their series start, and right away, Justin jumps on like, you guys should be mods for me, and the numbers for MME like double. Okay, group's at probably 9,000 at that point. Now it's at close to 20,000 because of what Ben and Danny have done. About 2 months later, Monster Inside about 2 months before Monster Inside starts getting released, Justin, did he approach you, Brandon?
Yeah.
So how did that go down?
Well, I was in his group. I held back. I wasn't really commenting or anything, and I noticed somebody was posting links just kind of randomly, right? And so I went and I looked to see if they were legit links or if they were phishing links or whatnot. And so I found a couple that were phishing links, and so I sent them to Justin. I was like, hey, look, man, these links aren't good. We need to take that, you should take that stuff down. And it was the second time that I did it that he was like, hey, I think you should be a mod. And so he made me a mod. But no, I didn't ask for it. He just did it. And then do you want me to go into how we go ahead, Boston?
I was just curious, did he know at that point that you were going to be in the documentary? Or was that just a coincidence?
Well, I'm trying to think. I think he might have. I think he alluded to something that was like, hey, because I think he knew that I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knew that I was in it, and he kind of said something I forget what it was, but he said something. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he knows. And so I was like, so you know about the little project or something along those lines. And anyways, that's how, anyways, it didn't really matter. But we eventually found out, and, it was shortly after I became a mod that I think he brought it up or I brought it up that, we need more than just one. And he was like, do you suggest anybody? And I suggested Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah, and so I joined it. I had already had a past with him, and so we were on good terms, but I was a little hesitant. We all kind of talked, and it was like it makes sense for all of us to be mods in the same group because this is an anti-MM group. We're all in the movie together.
Mm-hmm.
It only makes sense.
And you really want it, because we talked about it as well, because that was a group I'd heard the bad rumors and the things about him, and I was a little like, but again, Chris and I had that conversation. You guys have to remember, there were years that passed that Chris didn't talk about McKamey Manor at all. And it was a big decision to actually do the documentary. And then with the documentary coming up, of course, there was lots of emotions and nerves and like, what's the best route to take? And at the time, I remember it was like a really serious conversation, and you were like, you know what? This is it. Like my truth's coming out now, and I'm ready to do this. And if I go in, I'm going all in. Let's get the word out there. Let's make sure as many people as possible are watching the documentary. I have the past that I did with McKamey Manor. I can help answer people's questions. And that's essentially what happened. And so I joined that group, with Chris. At that time I had, kind of known Brandon a little bit. We were getting to know each other. And I was really active in that group. And eventually Justin asked if I would be a mod as well. And I said, sure, why not? I was active providing as much like my big thing, because I knew it was Chris's goal, and just as Chris's friend was like, get the facts out there. There's so much misinformation. Get the facts out there. So that's what I did.
Well, and you know, talking about Chris not talking about it, you know, me and Chris didn't even like each other. Like, I know we've said it 100 times, and you know, there's some people. Well, the admin of McCamey Manor Exposed likes to throw out, likes to, you know, post past conversations. Well, yeah, because me and Chris didn't like each other back then, right? We got to know each other, and you know, we became friends after the fact. But yeah, I mean, there's, you know, there's a lot of history there that's always taken out of context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So we joined the team, and within like a week, the group shoots from, you know, the 20,000 members to 40,000.
Well,
Like,
no,
nothing.
it was. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, because it was only at like 10K, probably even less than that, before Ben and Danny joined.
Right.
And
right.
and then it started shooting up because of their series, and then it like exploded because of the Hulu doc.
Yeah, they got it up to like 20K, and then the doc came out, and that added another 20K, and now today's where it's over 50. You know, which that's the thing. It's shown to the mass public, right? People don't have to search for it really. It's shown in the doc, so you watch the doc, you see it. People aren't going to think that there's 50 anti-McCamey Manor groups out there. They're just going to go and join the one that they saw.
Right.
And unfortunately, they go there, right? So we're in the group. And the first red flag for us was probably the Miranda thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miranda was she's now the admin of McCamey Manor Receipts, but that didn't exist at the time. She was just a member of MME,
Right.
and she came to us with tons of conversations between her and the old MM actors, right?
Well, she came to Justin.
Justin.
And then Justin
And then
made a
came to
group chat with all of us in it, like, hey, she's got a lot of information.
So, now get this. So, she does that. And then he makes a post about allowing the actors in to MME. The whole thing was about protecting the victims and standing up for what was right. And this was a safe place. But now we're allowing the past actors who did the abuse into the group. And that's where the tension started. That's when the pushback became between us and Justin. Miranda leaves. She goes and starts her own group.
Well, and at the time she was angry at us too. Because at the time there was some miscommunication happening. It's been resolved since then. Yeah. But she was giving us this information, and it was information about the actors after they had left McCamey Manor. And we were trying to say, like, this is great information, but, like, we really can't... We really want to focus on McCamey Manor itself and, like, what happened during those years in San Diego. And she took that the wrong way. And then we have since then ironed out any issues, and you know, she's a great person. She's got her own group going.
So she gets her group going, and what does Justin go and do? He creates an alt, he befriends her, and then he shuts down her group. This is a group about spreading awareness to MM, just on a different platform. But why can't she just go and do her own thing? He had to go out of his way, put on hold MME, the group that's so important to him, so that he could go and harass this woman.
Well, befriended her to the point where she made him an admin under this all, and that's how the group got shut down.
Yeah.
But it continued And I don't know how much further we're going to go.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, because the harassment continues.
Right.
With her.
So I'm just going up to the point where he gets these ults.
Right.
Right. And this is a real important part for the rest of tonight's episode, because this is what Justin does to make things confusing.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't necessarily do the stuff as Justin. He does it as ults, so that he can get away and say a bunch of horrible things to people and say it's not me. Well, if we want to play that game and say that it's not me, then what we should do is say, well, these people are your friend. Like, you're having them in your groups, you're having them support you, and these are horrible people. But tonight you'll see how we know that these are him.
Right.
Let me pull up some list.
And before you do that, I just want to say, at this time in the story, because I know we'll pick back up after we go through this list, but at this time, like when Miranda left and made her own group and he started going after her, he would once in a while make comments like, haha, but like showing that he was like trolling somebody that he's in a fight with. And it wasn't just Miranda, it was Lindsay he was fighting with at the time for different reasons. And he would show us little things, and like in our group chat. And I essentially got the nickname as like the babysitter, because I'd be like, dude, focus on the, like, huge things are happening right now. Let's focus on the mission. Like, why are you wasting your time trolling people in their Facebook groups? And at the time, it was mean-hearted trolling, but it wasn't anything that was like, oh my God, that's crossing a line. So I just want to put it in there that he would sometimes brag about like, oh, look, I did this, I did that to this person. But at the time, we just thought he was a butthurt, innocent troller.
Well, it's almost like there was a rule of 10 to go along with that, right? Every troll that he would at least show us, we didn't find this out until later, but it was like tenfold that he didn't show us.
Correct.
Right. So that was a massive problem.
So let me show. These are just some pictures. I have a list of alts. But at one point in time, and we blurred out their faces, because here's the thing that he does. He takes people from MME, finds their profile, and uses their photos to create these personalities. So at one point in time, which we're going to get to soon, where we called him out for being Peter Franks, he shared with us the list of all his alts to show that Peter Franks wasn't on that list. Now, you just log in to a different account, right? These are just the ones that are attached to that account. So we got a couple there.
Well, and you can, and the important thing there is you can see his profile.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can see the other ones that he can log into.
Oh, looks like I accidentally loaded the same one. So I'm just going to read the list. So Justin Wolfstar, Justin Wolf Voice, Drama Llama, Peter Franks, that then turned into Lisa Grace, another Peter Franks that then turned into Alan Gabriel, Mary D'Angelo, who then turned into
Jonah Beebs,
Underbride. And then one of the newer ones is Frank Seaworth, who I think he's trying to set Brandon up in the long haul for that one. Then we have Bailey Jackson, who then turned into a Peter Frank. So we're at like 3 Peter Franks at this point. And then now this one is a long one. We're at 4.
4.
Yeah, you missed one.
1, 2, 3. Oh, we did?
So then you got Lisa Rogers, who became Tanya Cole, who became Sarah Riley, who is now Rachel Octavia.
Well, who is now unknown, because the last that we heard as of today, that Rachel name is no longer searchable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and then
it's either someone else or deleted completely.
And then there's also Rebecca Badhair, That was a play against Kelly with her Becky Goodhair, Rebecca Badhair, who turned into Matt Anderson, Tiffany Hampton, who we saw on that list, Mimi, his wife. He has a fake profile of his wife. And then Justin Wolfie. So those are the ones that we've confirmed. Right? How many more are there that we have?
Oh, there's plenty more, and the thing is the figuring out like which one turned into which one and which one's a new one. Back when we first split with him, it was pretty easy because he would leave all the old photos in the fake profile, so you could see the photos changing from person to person.
Yeah.
And when we called him out for that, he realized his mistake and so stopped. Somehow turned it off or deleted photos before changing the name. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those have been multiple people in between. Those are just the ones that we know for sure.
So
that we can confirm.
And we keep a running list on our website too.
Yeah, on our website you can submit profiles of Justin so that we can help track it down. Now, we're going to let you all in on a little secret right here. And this mostly goes out to the mods and the other admins of the anti-MM groups. Now, one of the ways that you can catch this, and it's a good practice to do, is a welcome new members post every so often. When you do this welcome new members post, it takes all the new people that just signed up and puts their name in a list that is taggable. Now, Justin could go sign into that group originally as Peter Franks and a month later change it to Lisa Grace. However, on that list, it will still say Peter Franks. So you just simply find that Peter Franks and press it, and then you will see what that new name change is.
Yep.
Yep.
You're welcome for letting you know how a lot of these have been tracked down, Justin. But yeah, a lot of it is just history tracking. I mean, and he gets rid of batches and then makes completely new batches. This most current time, which we'll talk about later on, was just laziness, in my opinion.
Well, even that, did you already show the Bloomingdale one?
Oh yeah, that was somebody else too. That's confirmed.
I think that turned into the original Peter Franks.
That's possible.
All right. So now we are going to dive in and go through all the different things that have happened and led us up to the big grand finale that was this week, where Justin finally slipped up and didn't need us to out him anymore. He essentially outed himself. So let's dive in. This first one is pretty important because it comes into play later on again. On December 3rd, 2023, Justin went down to Tennessee to attempt to do a protest. It was very failed. They just bought pizza and people showed up for the free pizza and left. However, while he was there, he decided to go to Russ's property at night. And now he says that he didn't go far onto the property, but he did go far enough for the video doesn't play on there. It plays once and then doesn't. But there's pictures on the website. You can go to McCamey Manor Road Trip and go under the Justin section and find this. And
isn't there a picture of him of the security camera right in front of his face?
You can't really see it. It's above that sign.
Yeah.
It's right about there. And when you go on the website, you can see it.
Okay.
So this was him talking in a group chat with us. I don't think it was supposed to do this. They're lighting off fireworks, right? Boston says something. He says, yeah, but I thought it was a dud. He pulled it out a bit and then lit it. Now he's showing the sign. He's showing Russ's property with the smoke. Russ lives on the creepiest road. It's like a real life horror movie being out there. Oh, I forgot. So it rained. So we moved it to today. What is this? Is he talking about the protest, or is that something else?
That might have been the protest.
Nathan.
No, they didn't. They didn't move the date.
I don't know. It was a long time ago. It didn't matter.
Yeah. But right here, but at least we're going to get their attention. This is the video of the sign when I went back. So there is a video on the website that you can go on and watch. There's a picture of the sign. You can see the camera on the tree, LOL. Remember, we're going to come back to this. I said it was important. It is important. I just don't want to skip too far ahead with why.
Sorry, I had to post that comment.
I can't see any of them.
Off the property. Off the property. Off the property.
All right, so I gotta shrink this so I can see this stuff. All right. So now on December 11th, Courtney Reed gets some messages from Justin. Now,
and I was gonna say, let's preface this on that Courtney Reed was part of Miranda's channel at the time, so we can rewind back to Facebook page. Rewind back to Miranda's group, right? She first started getting the harassment. Now Courtney is a part of her group and a friend with her, and then she starts getting harassed.
So it's a series of messages that I think was a day or two long. And it went into, at first, just little like mean jabs into threats, talking about calling her child's doctor on her. At one
and that
point,
was Justin sorry to interrupt, but that was Justin himself.
Yes, yeah, that's what I had said. So yeah, it was Justin himself doing that, and he even did a screenshot of, or I think it was a screenshot of the phone number of the doctor's office, or maybe he just typed it in. Either way, he showed that he had the doctor's number.
Yep.
At one point, finally, and you can watch the video on our website that shows the entire conversation. At one point, finally, he says that you have a message from a Peter Franks who's trying to get a hold of you. Now, this is the first time we're hearing about Peter Franks.
I don't think he says the person's name. He just says someone told me that they have a message for you. And that you need to check your spam folder.
Yeah, and so she goes to spam, and who's there? Peter Franks. Now, Peter Franks says that Justin put Courtney's kid on a corn site. So sorry guys, I'm going through my notes. So now on December 12th, this was December 11th, December 12th, Courtney comes to us, shows us the evidence. We take a night to look it over and talk about it. And then on the 13th, we decide that what we see is enough. And we have to leave the group because we can't justify it. These are just some of the messages. Justin Wolfstar, I got questions. What's going on between you and Courtney? Why is she messaging you now? She's one of Miranda's loons, doing nothing but posting about me.
She's Miranda's main loon. That's important because I think that's why he targeted her.
Yeah. So I hear what's up with her kids. Did she actually dox you? And he says yes. And as for her kids, she got mad because she had her kids in a profile when I screenshot her a message. She's a loon. I'll try and find the post where she doxed me. I said, please.
Yeah, hold on. Pause it right there before you scroll. Sorry. Yes, and as for her kids, she got mad because she had her kids in her profile. When I screenshotted her messages, she's a loon. Okay. Sorry, I wanted to reread that again because the truth of the matter is so right there he's already lying to us. Continue.
So it turns out she didn't dox him.
No.
She
She
said
didn't.
his name and said, "I can't believe that a father would do this," and he took that as a dox.
Yep.
He shares the docs with us there, the supposed docs. I'm putting air quotes around it. Which then we're like, dude, that's not docs. On one of our past lives, it may have been on a members only, and I will later put it up. Or it was in the Facebook group, where Road Trip Exposed-ish, where I showed us actually leaving MME, not us being banned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this conversation leads to. It's not here, but then we got Brandon talk to him privately after, and so did Boston, but this one is Brandon's. Justin's trying to validate that he wasn't wrong. That alone shows she's not trying to get away from it. But you all do you, because he's mad at Brandon at this point.
Yeah, scroll down a little, or up, please. Okay, so that's cut off, but I assume that the beginning part of it said all she has to do is block me. Like if she's so upset, she can just block me. Obviously, she's not trying to get away from it because she didn't block me. Like, that's his fucking logic.
And Brandon says, "That's your argument to threatening a child? I'm smart enough to see right through that. What you did is wrong. Accept that." And Justin says, and this part's important, "I never threatened a child. It was Courtney I threatened. You're taking a troll message way too seriously." Brandon then says, "Absolutely, threatening a child with CP." Justin then says, "You know, I should have never even told you that was me. All I had to do was lie to all of you, and none of this would have happened. Learned my lesson. I have nothing left to say."
Because at this point, we had all left.
Right.
Because we were so mad. I want to reread that. "You know, I should have never even told you that was me."
Mm-hmm.
That sentence right there, there you go. He continues under alts and as himself to say, there's never proof. There's never proof. It's your own words admitting it to us back before any of these new alts were even a thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then Brandon ends it with, "I hope the lesson you learned is not to threaten someone's child. I hope the lesson you learned is not to blame me, us, for your actions." Mm-hmm. That was the end of that.
Because he was mad at us for saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, we can't help you anymore. Like, we can't be a part of McKinney Manor Exposed. We don't support your actions."
Yeah.
And thus we hurt his ego.
Yeah.
And so we tried to leave peacefully. We tried to just say, you do you, we're going to do us. We're going to focus on exposing MM, but under our means, not yours, because we don't like what you're doing. Well, we decided to make this group, the McKinney Manor Road Trip Facebook group, and we decided, you know what, we're going to take it to YouTube, because we already had the Horror Road Trip channel. While this stuff is going on, we are going to be out there and we're going to do lives about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to do our very first live. And literally minutes before the live starts, I get a message from Justin. And this was a screenshot from that live. It said,
I was going to say, sorry. Yes, let's be clear. That's a screenshot from the live. That's not Chris and Brandon right now frozen. No. Okay.
No. So we, I had to hurry up and grab this because I forgot to just get the screenshot of that conversation. Mm. But this is what Justin sent to me. "If you plan on going live tonight to just start drama and talk shit on me after you agreed not to do that, then you can forget any peaceful arrangement we had after you had left, as well as I put Crucible on the next place to expose. Keep my name out of your lives. Like he's really trying to Will Smith me with the keep my name out of your lives, but that's a straight up threat. And there was no going into this live, no shit talking that was going to happen. He knew that the conversations, because none of this stuff had been released, was there. And he knew that if we wanted, we could say it. So he tried to bully us away. That completely changed the course of everything because, like I said earlier, we don't back down. Right. That's one thing you won't get from the three of us here. You come at us at all you got, and we're going to come at you even harder.
Yeah.
So, that's what kind of brings us to this little spat that we're in right now. And then on December 14th.
The next day.
That's
when the video was released. Sorry.
Ben releases a video. Now, Ben left, I believe, the same night. Within an hour or so after we left, he reached out to us and we showed him the entire conversation that had happened so that he could make his own judgment. We didn't say, Ben, you got to leave. We said, Ben, this is what we were presented. Mm-hmm. You make your own decision from there. Danny did leave like a day later, but in all fairness, Danny was off the grid between that time. And when he came back, he was like, whoa, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
Jackson
also left with, I think Jackson left when Ben left, or I think they left at the same time.
Yeah.
But essentially everyone, heard what happened, made their own choices, and walked away. And then Ben decided that this was important enough to make a video about it.
Yeah, so now I'm going to show a couple of clips. Should I show all three clips you sent me, Boston?
Yeah, I mean, the first one just kind of talks about...
We'll just play it.
Okay.
So it's about the wolf. If you've been following the McCamey Manor Exposed Facebook page, you would see that there's some crazy drama, and first off, it's stupid, but now it's escalated to the point where there's going to be real victims getting hurt, and I need to take a stance on it and actually clear the air on what's actually happening. So in this video, I'm going to break down step by step every single thing that's happening, what victims are going to be hurt because of this, and what you guys can all do to help prevent this. So let's start with this. When Justin started his Facebook group, McCamey Manor Exposed, when I joined the Facebook group, it had about 10,000 members in it, and it wasn't too active. And once Danny and I started making videos, and once the Hulu documentary came out, it just started flooding with members. It went from, I think, 8,000 members to 50,000 members within a few months. And with 50,000 members in your group, you're going to have a whole range of different opinions, right? And that's to be expected. If you have 50,000 people and you tell them something, you're going to have...
All right.
Yeah, so I shared that one just more of to show like how they started, what the group size was at the beginning, what it was at the end, why Ben felt like he needed to make this video. And that's another thing, is I'm sure that Ben and Danny, especially when they found this out about what Justin was doing, probably felt a little guilty, like, damn, because their series brought thousands and thousands of people to this group that Justin admins. Yeah. So I think it was important for Ben to make sure to at least put this out there for anyone that follows him.
Sure.
Make the video shorter. I did that. He does not talk that fast.
So now everybody has now abandoned Justin. Nobody was thrown out. Everybody has left as their own free will. At this point, we're like, we could just show the text messages, but at the same time, those were private text messages, and we didn't honestly think that things were going to escalate to where they are today.
Mm.
However, we wanted to still have fun, and Brandon and Jackson came up with an elaborate plan to catch Justin as Peter Franks. And Brandon, I mean, this was your brainchild, so
Yeah,
do you
want to
wanna...
take this part?
Well, so I created the website, which we still use today. It came in exposed with the goal of, luring him to the website so I could get his IP address. Then I contacted Jackson, who was not really a part of this, right? And so I got Jackson to not befriend, but send a message to Peter Franks, send Peter Franks the website so that he would click on it and that would capture his IP address. So then that way I could compare the two IP addresses to see if they're the same. And sure enough, they were the exact same. Right. So that to me proved without a shadow of a doubt that Peter Franks and Justin are the same person. Now keep in mind, this has happened, 3 or 4 times since then. But yeah, the whole point of the website was just to make sure that and confirm without a shadow of a doubt that they were the same. And that's exactly what it did.
And I want to point out some stuff on these screenshots because I think it's important. First off, though, I do want to thank Bernie Gores. Thank you so much for the $20. That's very thoughtful of you. Thank you. We really do appreciate that. On December 19th, you sent it to Peter Franks.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jackson sending it to him.
Yeah.
And Jackson's like, what the fuck? All the Justin's info's on this. I need an explanation right now. And Peter Franks tries being tough and says that's his problem. He's done enough to hurt Miranda. He's getting... I don't understand what that whole part was. But here we see two different things, right? That was on December 19th. On the 21st was when Peter Franks clicked that link. And does that show? Notice how that's his problem is December 22nd.
Yep.
Right there. And he clicked on it on the 21st. At which point, after he clicked on it and that was received, that's when the next text message went out to Justin. So Justin got it after the confirmation of Peter Franks clicking on it. And it shows there is like 2 screenshots on it. Like he's confirming that he clicked on it.
Yep.
Again, now things to point out. This is the IP address of when Justin clicked on it. This is the IP address of when Peter Franks clicked on it. Nobody knows about this website. This website isn't out there for everybody. The only 2 people that have ever been sent the link is Justin and Peter Franks. Both of them clicking it on different days, exact same IP address. I don't know how much more clear-cut that can be.
Well, let's also point out, right? Let's also point out the fact that he liked to talk about Greensburg, which we will get more into later. But he was like, I'm nowhere near Greensburg, da-da-da-da-da. You remember that, Chris?
Yep.
Well, just so happens, he's right. He doesn't live near Greensburg, but you know what? You know where you know where I'm getting at? He works near Greensburg.
Right.
Or worked.
Or work.
At the time back then.
Yeah.
Like everybody says, I think that Jackson guy was in on it.
And he helped with the plan, him and Brandon.
So now keep in mind the dates, right? 22nd and the 21st, and then miraculously on the 23rd, Peter Franks' account disappears.
So weird.
Yep. That was the original Peter Franks. That's the Peter Franks account that messaged Courtney originally.
Okay. So that disappears, and that's when we were able to, thankfully before, grab that ID so that we could check and verify that that account wasn't the other Peter Frank's accounts when they were brought back up. Wait, people still use Firefox?
Oh yeah, let me tell you something. Firefox is one of the best browsers if you want to stay, if you want to stay, you know, if you want stuff hidden, you use Firefox or Tor.
And I have to say, that was December 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Merry Early Christmas.
Right.
Happy Christmas. It was nice to see that account disappear.
Yeah, but the
Get a
new
little
year,
break.
the new year brought in new problems, and that's when the first Drama Llama group came. Now,
Yeah, there was a picture there, by the way.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to take that down.
Now, the Drama Llama groups, if you're unfamiliar with them, they are groups that were originally just there to kind of target myself, Boston, and Brandon, and Josh. When Josh was a mod with us, they target us.
And this was something that the first Drama Llama group, Justin was the admin, and then there was an alt called Drama Llama, like with a little picture of a llama that he used, who he also at one point, because his own profile, like his Justin one, I think was being threatened maybe to, like, Facebook maybe was going to take it down. Because at one point, he made that Drama Llama alt an admin in McCamey Manor Exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And real quick, Bernie, thank you again, buddy.
Oh
Justin
my gosh,
couldn't
thank
even
you.
cover his
Thank you, Bernie.
tracks. So the Peter got caught in
Got
4K.
That's a great comment. Yes. All right. So yes. So the Drama Llama group one was that January 19th.
Oh, Random Girl says Bloomingdale, or what? Yeah, that one became the Drama Llama profile. That's interesting. I didn't know
That okay, yes. And it's easy, another easy way to find out, when people have been tracking this, we're not the only ones that track it, is you look back at McCamey Manor Exposed and there's this hit, because Justin, for some reason, and this is even before we had our falling out, he would use alts to make posts, maybe to make it look more active, or to say something that he was self-conscious about saying himself. So he would use his own alternate accounts to, like, post something. And then you go back in the group and look at that old post and it's got a new name on it. Mm-hmm. That's how a lot of people have caught a lot of his alts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, Peter Franks rises from the dead on December 21st of 2023. And
January 21st.
January 21st, 2023.
Oh, that's supposed to be 24.
24. You're right.
Yeah, that's my
all
bad.
that, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I'll fix it.
You need to hire a new web guy. All right. Let me just check something on this next one. I want to make sure that we don't accidentally show people's info. On February 29th is the first doxing of Brandon. This is the stuff that is done in that Drama Llama group.
Wait, are we skipping a bunch of stuff?
No. I haven't skipped.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, like,
Oh,
all that?
it comes back. It's out of order on the website.
Oh, okay.
So Brandon's doxed on February 29th. We skipped ahead a little bit. Well, we're going to go back in just a minute. But Peter Franks says, you know what I could do right now? I could go for a drive and then basically out Brandon's address. You can see 3. little comments on it. Um, and then there's somebody, David Abraham, who also, I'm not going to show what he says, but he runs his mouth too. People saying obviously it's an address, and Justin just denying it. I'm not seeing how this is an address drop. Also, I know they've been bad mouthing Frank on their YouTube channels. So who am I to get between them? You know, it's bullshit.
He has every right to hit back, if you ask me. So let's remember, this is at the time the Drama Llama group was Justin's. He was the admin, and then I think Peter was a mod and then became an admin. But he's living in his Delulu world, even way back then, last winter, being both himself and this Peter Frank's account, and interacting back and forth, which that's creepy, but buckle up, it gets creepier.
So we're back in January. I went back in time a little bit. January 30th. The weeks prior to this, Justin was on this rant about they could just interview me. I'll do an interview with them, like just really wanting us to interview. Especially Brandon. I think Brandon was the forefront.
I think it started with Brandon made a joke and like saying like, yeah, I mean, no, this is what it was. Brandon said Justin knows nothing, because Justin was running his mouth about CS. And it was in one of our lives, Brandon said, you know what, he can interview me if he wants, and I can tell him everything. Like, we never wanted to interview Justin.
Right. And
it was a joke
to that.
Right. Yes. Okay.
And you can see that there's several posts here. First off, tell them that they could talk to me. He's trying to call the shots. Well, we told him when and where. If he wanted to come up and talk, he could. And this video is on our YouTube channel. It's Will There Be an Interview? And Tara and Brandon hosted. I just kind of popped in and out throughout. But while it was going on, Peter Franks was in chat. And kept saying, drop me the link. Drop me the link. And we dropped the link.
Like many times. Yeah.
Many times. And then even at one point said, this is you're given a 15-minute warning. Mm-hmm. Like, you got 15 minutes to get on it. And he never clicked on it. He was eventually banned from the channel. Now, let me explain something when you get banned from a channel. It's not like Facebook where you get banned from the group and it's hidden. You can still watch it. Mm-hmm. The only thing you can't do is type, but you can click links.
Correct.
So the links were still being dropped. They didn't come up. The only thing we did was stop them from talking and distracting the chat.
Right. And then afterwards, Justin, of course, is look, or Justin as this Peter Frank's account, look, they banned me. I couldn't even come up and talk. I would have gone on video. Essentially trying to say, I could have easily proven that Peter isn't Justin, or Peter isn't me, and it never happened. Conveniently.
Yeah. Around February 16th is when the post started going from no more of I banned them from the group, or these guys are idiots. That's when things started getting disgusting. Not that they already weren't for Courtney and them. Mind you, Courtney and Tara and Miranda are already at that level of being treated disgustingly by him. They're being said horrible things about themselves, about their families, about their kids. But on February 16th, it starts for us. And mostly honed in on Boston, mocking a medical condition and body shaming her repeatedly through memes and other ways. Now, if a lot of you have seen our recent stuff, you're like, well, you guys do that to Justin all the time. We did it. We did it for a long time. And Boston still doesn't.
Yeah, that's my number one thing. I still give them, I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like body shaming any human being, even if you are a complete, total scumbag waste of subhuman, putrid trash.
The only thing she's learned is to not bring it up publicly. we warn her ahead of time. Hey, Boston,
You guys tell me, yeah.
just mute for a minute. We gotta talk. Yeah. And me and Brandon don't have a problem giving back the same energy to people. Now, would I body shame an everyday person who I just didn't like? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. But scumbags like Russ McCamey and Justin, 100%. I have no problem with the things that they've done to people, giving them a taste of their own medicine. 110%. Now, this started in February, right? We're now in August. It has not stopped, and it has progressively gotten worse. It has escalated so much. It's terrible, the things that have been said about her. Let me hide this one for a second.
Then
right,
we go to Transworld.
No, yeah. So the next one I'm not going to show, but on March 8th, Brandon was doxxed yet again. I'm not going to show it because I feel it gives away a little too much.
Okay. Well, I was going to say the comments under there are very interesting.
Okay, so I can show the comments. Just the comments.
So just like, because it's on the website, but you know, he doxes my phone number under the guise of these are lucky lotto numbers, right? And as you can see there, now he's saying that his Peter Franks account is me. You know, it makes no sense.
Yeah, he's tried to shift the blame. And remember that he's trying to blame Brandon for this, because that's going to come into play later on when history starts to repeat itself again.
Yeah. we get blamed for so much of his nonsense.
So March 9th, the three of us pack up and we head to good old St. Louis.
We'd already been there for a few days.
We had already been there for a few days, but if you follow us, you've seen it. We decided, because while we were there enjoying our time, oh, hold on one second.
Oh my God.
Bernie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernie.
You've been extremely generous, and that is very nice to say. Thank you.
All I have to say is Justin is built like the Wish version hamburger and rejected the team.
Oh my God.
Bernie with the comment of the year right there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Megan, you watched the video. It's the infamous
Megan.
Flipping the Bird by Boston.
Yes.
Russ called us out while we were there, and we didn't disappoint, and we went and confronted him in person at Transworld. Now, Justin was nowhere to be found. He's got the largest anti-MM group, and when he went to confront Russ, only a couple people showed up and ate some pizza. And he went and hung up a paper sign with the word "was" spelled wrong and ran. It was like doing the doorbell knock and run. He got
ding dong ditching.
Yeah. And so we actually do something, and this infuriates Justin. And so now all of a sudden, this is when the tides start to turn. Justin starts to side with Russ and claims that we have crossed the line. Mind you, Justin on December 3rd went onto Russ's property, hung a sign. He drove out of state to get to Russ's house. We were at a convention already that Russ showed up to. We were there 2 days before Russ even came.
Yep. a public place trying to have a conversation with somebody
Yeah.
That he asked us to come and talk to.
civilly.
Yeah, and Russ asked us to come and talk to him.
Exactly.
And we did.
Yeah. So that you're right. That's exactly when you start seeing the tides changing as far as like, wait a second, this is the admin of McCamey Minute Exposed, and he's defending Russ right now. Why would he do that? The only reason he would do that is because at this time, and I believe to this day, he now hates us more than he hates Russ. We have bruised his ego more than Russ bruised his ego, so his target has changed. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
And Carrie says this right. Carrie's, I remember he did a live after.
Oh, yeah.
How I would have handled it is I would have got a booth at Transworld, and when I saw Russ McCamey walk by, I would have turned my back and crossed my arms because I have nothing to say to that man.
As if he could afford a booth at Transworld.
Well, and didn't he say like his booth would be like to tell people about Russ and like expose like you couldn't have a booth like that, buddy.
Yeah, no. That's not
That-
how that works.
He doesn't know that though.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So on March 28th, Brandon finds himself with a little bit of time on his hand and decides, you know what?
Oh.
My website's loading. I'm going to call Peter Franks. So, Brandon, why don't you talk about what happened here?
Well, I called him, so I forget I saw that he was active, and because I messaged him right before, that was the time that he was trying to say that we only had like 2 or 3 members or something like that, but he just happened to block his little picture off of the screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I want to call him, but I can't call him unless he messaged me back. So I'm going to say something to him. So I messaged him that, and I was like, hey, thanks for letting us know that you're a paid member there, hero. And so, of course, he said something snotty back. Well, he messaged back, so now I could call him. So the next day, I waited until the next day until I saw that he was active, and I just called him out of the blue, and sure enough, he answered. He answered.
Just to clarify, because you never said the name. Peter Franks, the Peter Franks account is who you were interacting with at this point, correct?
Yeah, I thought Chris said it, but yes, it was the Peter Franks account that I messaged that saying that he blocked out his own little, profile picture, and then he messaged back, and then out of the blue, I waited until the next day, and then I just gave him a call, and he answered. And you could totally tell it was him. You could hear his voice, and then he quickly rushed to try to put it on mute, but he couldn't put it on mute right away, but eventually he did. and then I was like, okay, Justin. And then I believe I called him again.
So these screenshots are. Yeah.
Oh no,
you did. No, you did. That's you.
These are screenshots that Justin posted.
Yeah.
Well, Peter posted from the Peter account, but it shows, so that's why in blue, that's what Justin's saying. And now Justin is.
Okay, Chris?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's Brandon. Oh, I get it. Because you were like, okay, Justin, because you're talking to the Peter Franks account. Goes, okay, Chris, like as if you aren't really you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then Justin has to go in there. The Road Rangers with their latest lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next clip I'm not going to show. This is the famous Road Rage video that we talk about quite often. I'm not showing this on our channel because it does give a lot of addresses because...
Well, to be fair, there are no addresses that are associated with him directly.
Right. It's just streets after he said that he was leaving work. So the video goes on, And in this live, he mocks our members. He mocks us. Now, mind you, this is somebody who has a group of 60,000 people. He's driving reckless down the street, flipping out about his day. This is a person that people are trusting and coming to his group, right? This is not a professional way to act. This is not a professional way to be. I'm also not going to show the next one.
Well, I think it's important. Well, without showing it, you don't have to show it. But what I'm going to say is so the reason why we have those, why we went to the links that we did in order to figure out exactly where it was, is because we kind of had a feeling that Greensburg, PA meant something, because he was really quick to be defensive of it. And sure enough, it shows, you know, I went through his video and tried to find
You geo-tracked it. Yeah, well, a lot of people on TikTok do this, by the way. They'll be like, send me a picture. Like, send me a random picture, and I'll tell you exactly where you are.
Yeah, and so that's basically what that's what I did. And sure enough, that's when I found out that Greensburg, PA is just right up the road from where the actual video started. Oh, we're getting into the terrible, awful?
So on April 7th, I get, at this point, everybody knows Russ's current ex-girlfriend, Shay, we are in contact with and we have built a friendship with. Very early in the morning of April 7th, she contacts me to let me know that Justin has sent Russ a video that shows something that is going to directly affect me. She sends me a link to the video and I watch it. And what I see in this video is that over 6 months, Justin has been associating with an ex of mine that was an ex for about a year, I think, at that point. In it, they plan on visiting places where I live, places where I go. This is also important to note that in this video, Justin's a married man. And to just get back at me, he was willing to cheat on his wife. Like, how messed up is that? He tried to manipulate my ex and ended up, didn't work out. She told me everything. He also went to the extent to post sensitive private pictures of her that were sent to him.
That she had sent to him.
That she had sent to him. And it's just disgusting that this person has such a vendetta to now bring in people outside of the ones that are directly working with him.
It was pretty sick.
Was Bernie got to say. The saddest part is the people came to McCamey Manor exposed to build a community and a place of belonging. Instead, Justin believed people came solely for himself. Yeah, exactly, Bernie. It's about clout, even though he says we are the clout chasers. He made a whole video that's trash. Yeah.
And posts, and lots of posts in that Drama Llama group, because you have to remember the whole purpose of these Drama Llama groups, which keep getting taken down and put back up, to him, he can't let anyone in the big group, McCamey Manor Exposed, with the 50,000 plus people in there now, thanks to Danny and Ben, Reckless Ben, and the Hulu documentary, he can't let them see who he really is. Because as soon as people see that, they leave. And some of you who are newer here but have been around recently, since Russ has, was arrested and charged with what he was charged with, could see kind of who he is by the stuff he was allowing, the shaming of the victim, even some of his own posts and his own comments of things he was allowing and saying were trash. And a lot of people saw it and just left on their own and came to us and said that, he's gross. I don't know what his deal is. Well, here's his deal. That's what this live is.
And Nurse Zero, yeah, this is definitely harassment. And I'll be honest, it gets worse from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to have somebody open up to you and you think that they're really trying to be your friend just to find out that it's just a vengeful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the screen up. On April 8th, we get word that Russ has submitted the lawsuit against Justin. We see it pop up in public records. Justin has not been served yet at that time. This is for Justin admitting on the Hulu doc that he hacked into Russ's personal email. And then on April 24th, Justin actually gets served at home, where we find out that he is described as a person whose facial hair does not connect at the beard and mustache. That's lagging. 5:29. Another drama llama starts up. Again, this group is targeting. They always seem to start up targeting Courtney, Tara, and Miranda at first, and then turn into let's bash.
It's easy, and he like literally just saves and reuses old posts too.
Yeah,
like recycle material.
These are just some of the posts that were in there. He uses these groups too to brag about himself. It's really creepy because, like, when he does this, there's usually only a handful of people in the group at the time. And yeah, like you said, it's cringing.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
look, read that one out loud.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Brandon Vance, can you ask Courtney Reed how her daughter is doing for me?
Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And like Ben said in his video, because Ben always tries to see both sides of everything, right? And like he said in his video, even if like you think someone did this awful thing to you or whatever, like, you're not, like, that's not trolling, right? There's trolling, and then there's taking it way too far. And that's why we all had, ended up leaving. I think there's a part of him in his head that is like, oh, well, I'm a troll now. I'm not me. This is a different account. And everything comes out, like the worst of the worst things.
This is also when we see that he is in communication with Russ, sending information on us to try to get a lawsuit filed against us.
Because misery loves company, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This part I really like. So we decide to open up the website even more on this is June 1st. We decide to unleash the Justin section of the website. Now, mind you, the community is fairly small, and if you release information at a certain part of the day, it's pretty easy to know that it's not going to get a whole lot of traffic on certain hours. So we release that information at certain parts to kind of see who's looking. And well, the screenshots line up with Peter Franks taking them, but he forgets that for analytics, we capture IP addresses.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know, look at all these in a row on June
Pennsylvania.
1st.
On June 1st.
and it's the same IP from the same
Yes.
state, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And town, but I won't say the town. Out
I will.
loud. But okay, Brandon's like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, Newcastle, Pennsylvania says it right there.
Yeah. I mean, he publicly talks about it all the time, so. Yep. So those times and that date lined up with all the posts that Peter Franks was making. And then, of course, anytime we point something like that out, he comes back with, oh, you know, as Peter, oh, the wolf sent me all this. The wolf sent me all this.
Yeah, at midnight, within
Yeah.
minutes of him going on there, you just happen to contact. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on. Fucking clown.
So the next one I'm not going to show because it shows Justin's address. And I don't want to have that on the channel. But in this, prior to this happening, Brandon, do you want to talk about what you sent Justin?
So Justin sent one of my family members a very threatening package that had a very threatening note on it.
Can I show it?
Yeah, you can.
Because this is going to come into play later as well. Oh. Gonna be like that, huh?
Yeah, we really didn't talk about it and a lot of people say, oh, you just, best thing you can do is just ignore him and it will go away. He doesn't operate that way. Trust me. And when this happened to Brandon, obviously huge lines were crossed. But we don't want to give it any kind of attention. And sure enough, that same day, post after post after post by Peter Franks. Yeah. If you zoom in, or do you want to read it out loud? Okay.
I can read it. It says, it must be hard being married to a woman abuser. If you ever need help, reach out to me, the wolf.
That's what he mailed to my family member.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I intercepted it before she got it.
Mm-hmm.
But what he doesn't know is that, and that's what prompted me to file charges. The cops came over that night. I wrote a whole statement. The family member that he sent to never got to see that note. But instead, the package was used in a different way, in a good way, but in a very good way. So I'll just put it that way. So, but no, that particular note never reached the target that
right
that it was addressed to. Although it was for me, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was for me. And so, then what we had to do is me and my family member sat down, and we had a cease and desist drafted, and that family member sent it to Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, that was already sent, and then he sent basically a bunch of rubbish back to you.
Well,
right?
he copied
it.
Right, but here's the thing that I'm getting at is he broke that cease and desist by then contacting you again.
Well, this one was directed towards me. It wasn't directed towards my family member, right? Even though, keep in mind, I told him never to contact me again on 2 different occasions back in January. So I already had what would stipulate a cease and desist as far as don't contact me again. So that's what is propelling the charges forward, is because he still contacted me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, all he did was copy and paste.
Yeah, and there was posts made that day, that I don't know if we have screenshots of those to show, but it was in the Drama Llama group of like, oh, it's a great day to go out and smell the flowers,
roses,
the roses, and then like a picture of a bunch of roses, because we weren't saying anything, and it was really getting to him, but yeah, it's an important part of the story.
So then I took his cease and desist and I wiped my ass with it. I legit did. It's toilet paper. So I wiped my ass with
Why
it.
would you do that when you have a perfectly well working bidet?
Oh, nothing felt better than that fucking cease and desist. I wiped my ass clean with this cease and desist. Oh, it was great.
So, July 19th, Russ gets arrested. This infuriates Justin, right? Because throughout the months leading up to this, Justin had basically turned MME into a hate page for Shay. It was nothing but rude comments. It was nothing but him trying to make excuses like, please don't say nothing, but I won't delete your comments.
Yeah. Shay, for anyone like brand new, we always have to try to remember brand new people could be watching. Shay being Russ's girlfriend at the time.
Yeah. When Russ gets arrested, it wasn't by Justin's hand. So he then goes on the tirade of saying that we helped set Russ up with Shay and that she was lying about the abuse. Now, it's very important to note that Shay was not the one that pressed the charges against Russ. The state did, because they came and they found enough evidence at the crime scene to press charges. Right? And so for there to be a setup, that would kind of mean that we have to be there. And we are not there. We did not set anything up. This poor girl went through abuse and had to suffer through that. And he's trying to take that, take all that away from her.
And paint her out to be a bad guy, which in turn then defends Russ. And he is doing this so hardcore and getting more people, like people that I know aren't alts, to say, and they're Russ supporters. Like the Russ supporters are loving this because they're like, yeah, that girl set him up. Or though, she should have never been friends with the road trip guys. And it's a twisted, fucked up story. And he's knowingly putting that information out there into people's heads.
Right. And the things that he said about her under the alts were absolutely disgusting.
Do you want to read that?
I
can
can't.
You? Is it too small?
Okay, 1 second. I do want to note that after we end this live, it's going to remain up. However, we are going to do interviews with some of the people that we've talked about and kind of interview ourselves and put together a whole nother video that kind of shows more of the screenshots. It's just so hard to censor them on a live and do all that pre-work. We want to make sure that they're done right, that they look good. So that will be coming up in the near future. However, for now, that's why we're just kind of breezing over what was said. Go ahead if you want to try to read it.
All right. So this was made under his Peter Frank's account. It says admin there because at this point, the newest Drama Llama iteration group, Justin didn't have his actual profile in there and pretended like, oh, it's just Peter Frank's going to run this now. Okay. He says, so for the people who really want to know what's going on with Russ's arrest, Shay set Russ up. She befriended the road ragers and they convinced her to do that to Russ. I don't know if I can even read this next sentence. But essentially it says she likes abuse in the bedroom, and Russ lightly choked her, and she is using that for attention and turning him in for it. Why? Because Russ demanded the respect he deserved. She should have never befriended Russ's biggest haters. She couldn't control Russ and play both sides forever, so she decided to be a snake and manipulated the police into thinking Russ abused her for something she asked for. That fucking, I'm sorry, I'm shaking. I've read this so many times, but this sentence, the real victim is Russ, and the real snakes are Shay and the road ragers. If you see this, Russ, I suggest suing her too. 100. She's been playing you from the start with Chris, Boston, and Brandon pulling the strings. Fucking disgusting. Disgusting. And Justin, I want to say that post, which was in that Drama Llama group, was Peter also posted in the McCamey Manor Exposed group. Justin had that post posted there, I think anonymously. And left it up for quite some time before enough people were outraged by it.
So then Justin on July 21st decides to start a GoFundMe. Now, it's funny, the GoFundMe amount is for the exact amount of money Russ would need to be bailed out. Shay did not ask for this GoFundMe to be put up. She was not a part of this GoFundMe. This was just another dig. And he does it so that it looks like he can play as the good guy. But he is doing digs at her.
Well, he immediately, like that same day, I don't know if you were going to say more about the GoFundMe, but started getting pushback and people being like, that's like creepy and weird, dude. You're like, it's looking like you're stalking her. And then suddenly you've got a post that says, let's all take a poll. Some people are saying that they wouldn't trust her. So let's do a poll and do you trust her or do you not trust her? Like, okay, let's publicly in this huge group show this victim who just, had this shit happen to her that a bunch of people don't trust her.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, and that went on, and then eventually the fundraiser. I don't know if he ever took it down, but like it was turned off.
He turned it off, and I think that was always the plan.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever planned on making any money. He was the only one that donated it to it. And he used people's names that are in our chat.
Oh yeah, that's true. To pretend like they donated too. Yeah. No, Shay never got.
So
I think he may have, like, because later on Shay made her own fundraiser for herself, and I think he may have donated to that. But again, it's all just spiteful, because he has been absolutely disgusting to her from the second that he realized that she wasn't a fan of him and that she had befriended us.
So now the next part, we're moving into the recent stuff going on. July 22nd starts, threats against our channels start to emerge. He starts striking our member-only content. Now, this could result in financial damages to us. I mean, at this point, because these false claims, right, are getting content that people pay for taken down, that could affect us financially, which does build a case for us now against him. It then moved into our awareness videos about MM and claiming that he was Russ. Now, I know some people are like, well, how do you know it wasn't Russ? Well, I'll tell you how I know it wasn't Russ. Because these claims were made in bulk groups. He did 3 or 4 different days with a bunch of videos all mixed together, and they were all like within a minute or two apart, and sprinkled throughout all those different days would be a rise and fall episode. Now, frivolous strike claims against YouTube's TOS. Yes, they are. They are, Random Girl. And, you know, trying to talk to YouTube is quite a pain, but we have worked it out. I have been extremely busy with quite a few projects going on at the same time. So eventually they will go back up. Here's the thing. He's trying to strike us on times that we use the little picture of him saying that he was a snake. That's fine. I'll take it the fuck out if it hurts your fifis that bad. And so I'm going to do that. It just takes some time to do that. And then they will be back up.
Yeah.
But he made it known in post that he was gunning for us. He then tries to give Peter Franks a face by finding this random YouTuber and using him as the Peter Franks persona. You know, before it was claimed it was Brandon, before it was claimed it was me. It's been many different times. Sometimes he knew Peter, sometimes he didn't know Peter.
Sometimes they were really close. Sometimes it was I booted him from my group and deleted all his posts. He said that to Shay at one point when he was trying to make nice with her again, and I was like, oh, okay. He went and booted his alt, and so out of curiosity I looked, and no, the alt was never booted. Why would he need to do that?
And this wasn't the first time that he's done this with a person. He's also done this with the Mary D'Angelo profile using Miranda's voice. Somebody with a very distinct voice. You're going to use her voice. Like, come on, dude.
Well, this person, a member of ours, I believe, maybe a member of Tara's group, maybe both, contacted this person, like found them in real life through their YouTube videos, and the person was like, huh? Like, someone's doing what? And I think his response was like, well, I'm glad someone's watching my videos. Because they're just like silly, you know, songs and stuff that he does.
So, between the 25th all the way to the 31st, I'm going to just quickly go through these. We just start dealing with more harassing posts. But now Peter Franks has turned into Alan Gabriel. And he takes turns every day going after each of us. On the 8th, Brandon gets doxxed for the 7th time. Also on the 8th, Justin pulls a Hail Mary move. I can only assume that this is Justin, and I'll give my reasons why.
Oh, that was bizarre.
All of a sudden, this email pops up. And people are freaking out. Who sent this email? Who is this? It went to Russ's attorney, and then Justin goes on another tirade of first blaming me, then blaming Brandon. It ends up sticking to Courtney. That's who he decides that he's going to pin it to. And to me, this is smart on his move to make this email and point it at someone else, because now he's trying to say all this proof that's coming out about me is fake. Look at this. It's fake. And now it's getting sent out to my lawyers. He's playing the victim card very well right here. And then he continues to talk about a phone number, too, which I'm still, I mean, again, I was out that week. I'm
saying
so
it's Courtney's.
Lost about a phone number. I'd never seen
it. Was in the email, Chris.
But I've seen the email. The email's here.
Yes, and if you like, well, you can't zoom in. A lot of stuff is like...
I see Justin's phone number.
Well, that's a different screenshot. That's like a screenshot of the email. Yeah, so the full email, like without that message there, like that's just a message of him saying, look, I sent this proof to my lawyer. That's all that is.
Okay.
But the full email, yeah, we should get that up there. I'm sure I have it somewhere, Brandon.
Yeah, I couldn't grab it. It was gone before I could even.
Because he ended up deleting it. He went to McKamey Manor Exposed. So I'll explain what happened. So this email is essentially a very poorly edited email. I'm sorry. The email includes a screenshot, and that screenshot is very poorly edited. And it's Justin's profile picture and his name and his group, McKamey Manor Exposed, and it's a whole statement of quote unquote Justin saying, I am Peter Franks and I did admitting to I am Peter Franks and many other alts, and admitting to the email thing, the Russ's email thing, basically just saying telling on himself, right? And then saying his address, his phone number, his own phone number, Chris, something else. Oh, maybe that's what he means by the phone number. Maybe it wasn't his phone number, but it was, now he's trying to say it's Courtney's phone number. I don't know. But it was edited. Justin would never have done that. But then somebody posted that in Tara's group. It was anonymous. We know the person who did it. It's an alt. We don't know the person, but it was clearly an alt account and someone who had just joined, right? So I could assume it's Justin. But this person says, look, I just sent this to Russ's lawyer. Then Justin takes that person's post, puts it in McKamey Manor Exposed, and says, look what these people are doing to me. They're faking me admitting to stuff I didn't do and sending it to Russ's lawyer. So if that was Justin, he faked evidence, sent the email to Russ's lawyer, very clearly fake evidence, if this is all him, right? In my logic, in my head, I'm the only reason maybe that he would try to do this is A, to look like some kind of victim, but B, to make it look like any other evidence that they have of Justin admitted, because he does admit, or had admitted in so many posts. Everyone's seen them for years of him admitting to doing what he did with Russ's emails. And Russ's attorney already has all that information, right? But now he's oh, look, they sent this and it's fake information, so maybe it'll make all the other information look not credible. Oh. That's the only logic that I could apply. I don't understand that whole thing at all. That's where my logic goes. But yeah, he ended it by saying that phone number we trace back to Courtney. So, Courtney, I'm contacting my lawyer. I hope you have a lawyer. And then everything got deleted.
So, all right. So for this next part, Boston, I want you, because you filled me in the best. Again, I apologize to everybody. I'm trying to stay with everything. It's just been a hectic week for me. So I missed out on the festivities the other night. However, Boston, you gave me a great play-by-play of what happened, and if you can reenact that play-by-play for me, it would be much appreciated. And this happened 2 nights ago?
Was it 2 nights ago or was it last night? Yeah, 2 nights ago. So Chris was driving home and was like, "Hey, call me." He likes to talk when he's driving. So I called him. He's like, "Anything happen tonight?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, Carrie was there. It was a wild night. Okay. So it was about 2 hours of just insaneness. My post would really help. Oh. There we go. That would help me remember the order of events. Okay. So, not that we needed any more proof that Justin is Peter Franks / Alan Gabriel, Frank Seaworth, etc. But here you go, everyone. He deleted his Drama Llama group today. So that's the first thing we can talk about. And you did see that post, right?
Yes.
He made some kind of announcement using Frank Seaworth's name to say that, like, Alan's account
Something
is
big's
gone.
in the works. Something big's in the works. That's how I figure Frank.
Out of respect for Wolf, we're gonna, put this group away. So, goodbye, everybody.
Because Wolf's doing a bunch of important things, we can't be active at all. So, because it'd be impossible.
Right. So I'm not going to name the people, but several of our members, and people that are in different groups, like Tara's group, McKamey Manor Secrets, and Miranda's McKamey Manor Receipts, are messaging me, right? And they're like, boom, boom, sending me all these screenshots. And I'm like, oh my goodness, something's going on. So I go to Tara's group and I see post after post after post of these awful messages. So the next part of my post, and this was posted in our shit talking group, or Road Trip Exposed-ish, he must have really been jonesing to be awful without his Peter Allen account. So he revived his old alt account, Lisa Rogers, and changed the name and photo to Rachel Ottavio, and went on a spree of disgusting, vile, subhuman hate in the McKamey Manor Secrets and McKamey Manor Receipts group. We'll show one of those, like, to show an example of the level of hate.
Is it the one with Tara's picture?
Yeah, if you want to show that now, you can. So this was posted in both groups, I believe. Mm-hmm. Tara loves little boys. I have enough alts in these groups with the group gone for the season, meaning Drama Llama. I'll just use yours for now. Wink.
And there's an eggplant in the kid's mouth that we...
Yeah, that's Tara and Tara's incredible son. She's an incredible mom, but yeah, there was an eggplant in that kid's mouth. Here's another one. And he really went crazy in Miranda's group because Miranda wasn't active. So posts weren't getting taken down or anything. Where Brandon, the I don't know why he's like not spelling swear words now.
So that he can't get hit.
Okay. So funny that a swear word can get a hit, but like talking, being a homophobe can't. All right. The guy who bitched out of Crucible not once but twice and likes to dress like a girl and wear onesies when he is supposed to be protecting the country and not sleeping with other men. Clown face. The is that's the only way I can describe that emoji, and that's like his signature emoji. Justin's, Peter's, Alan. It's so weird. They all have the same one, isn't it? And then, because the narcissist like realized after he made this post that like that wasn't enough, he had to bring it up because we had never talked about the rose delivery to Brandon's family member until today. So he just had to get that dig in there and commented on his own post, Rachel, is the reason you don't have kids is, this pissed me off so bad, is the reason you don't have kids is because you failed your wife in the bedroom like you did Crucible twice, Brandon? Just curious. Did she enjoy the rose I sent her? And then there's like a rose and a skull bone.
But this is important.
This is
rose
important.
I sent her.
Did she enjoy the rose I sent her? Okay.
Right? And then we have, from a long time ago, Peter Franks, right? So, okay. So Peter Franks is Rachel, is what we're seeing, right?
No. We're assuming that this Rachel account is very clear, like flat out admitting it, talking about all the alts they have, but is very clearly pretending to emulate and be Peter Franks.
Exactly. That's
right.
What I'm saying.
So okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Justin is always like Peter Franks is a different person.
Right. Peter Franks isn't me.
We got this.
Well, hold on.
Rose.
And that rose. Did she enjoy the rose I sent her?
Yeah.
As Peter. And then here's a post from Peter Franks shortly after a few days, because he keeps bringing it up, because Brandon wouldn't talk about it publicly. So, Brandon, buddy, this is an anti-MM community. Nobody cares about Justin. I know you're butthurt over him sending your wife a rose, telling her she has a place to go. She feels like she needs safety from you, but making up lies thinking people have no common sense or even care about Justin is simply delusional. So right here, Peter is saying, I know you're upset that Justin sent the rose,
Yep.
right? And we have the card that Brandon showed earlier, or that you showed, the card that came with the rose that says from the wolf, right? So in Justin's storyline here, he was totally okay with saying like, yeah, it was Justin did that. He wanted Justin. Justin wanted himself to get credit for that one, right? So isn't it weird that this Rachel alt account, who is supposedly Peter, is now saying, did she enjoy the rose I sent her? Yet Justin claims Peter is not him. Well, that's funny, because let's look at Rachel. You can go back to my original post. He seemed to be so riled up in his hate spree that he forgot his Lisa Rogers account made posts last year in his own group. He also seemed to forget that when he was using his Peter Franks account some time ago in the Drama Llama group, he said that Justin himself sent Brandon's wife a rose in the mail. But wait, why is Lisa turned now to Rachel saying I sent a rose to Brandon's wife? Also, he may have forgot the time he had sent me a screenshot of his current alt accounts last year. And what do you know? Would you look at that? Lisa Rogers right there in the screenshot. This is just beautiful. Thank you, Justin, for leaving the world's largest snail trail right back to yourself. So now let's show the proof.
Which one?
Oh, I guess you could start with the short clip video I took.
Okay. All right. Give me one second.
For my post.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, did I not send that?
No, you didn't send that one to me.
I have the pictures though. The screenshots those will work. Because then he shows it himself in the video he made.
I showed everything you already sent me.
Well, can you pull up the thing you just had up? Because you had it for like a second and I said don't show that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a screenshot of Rachel. I don't know why I blurred out her last name, but that's the same person.
Well, we're going to show it in a video clip where it's not blurred too. And
okay.
And an important thing is he's trying to say that she joined on July 28th. And I want to really point out that look at that post below the view profile where it shows that Rachel made a post on December 14th.
2023.
This is in
and
his
there was another
video.
one there, but he's deleted them since.
This is in his video, though, where he's trying to prove that they're not the same person and pin Rachel's profile on Boston.
Yeah, but let's explain. Can you put it back up, please?
Yeah.
So for anyone wondering why it says member since July 28th, 2024, it would show, like, if I left a group and then rejoined the group, I'm still me, right? So like Facebook remembers, they will put the date that I rejoined, but it's going to show any of my old posts that I had made in that group. Those never go away because it's still your account. So this Rachel account used to be Lisa Rogers, who, like I said, it's weird, but he would do this a lot. He would post using his alt accounts to like keep the group active or to answer questions he didn't want to make it look like was him because maybe he was self-conscious about his answer. I don't know. One of these, and I have the video of it. It's in the original post. If you guys aren't part of the Horror Road Trip Exposed-ish Facebook group, go look for my post. I've got the video. It's like 15 seconds. But it shows another post.
For the group is in this video. In this video, on the live that we're on, in the description of this live,
okay.
There's a link to that group.
Okay, gotcha. But what was I saying? Oh, so you see the video and you see that I go to her name, like I searched up her name, looked at her old post. She had this one, and then I think there was another one, because that was right after we had left, that December 14th one. But there was another one, I want to say it was like October 7th or something. And it was a post like giving the history for, giving some history about the manor. And then you see in comments, Chris actually tagged her name and said, "Thank you, this is great info." Something along those lines. Because at the time, Chris was like, "Oh, it's a great post." Not even knowing it was Justin. But guess what? The tag says Lisa Rogers. You click on it and it brings you to this account, because the account never changes. It's just you can change the name and you can change the photos. So this used to be Lisa Rogers. That is a confirmed account. Justin himself has shown myself and multiple people when he was trying to say, "Oh, I only have these accounts. I'm not Peter Franks." Lisa Rogers was one of them. Lisa Rogers made plenty of posts in his group. What do you know? Lisa Rogers changed to Rachel. This is an account he has admitted to having, yet he is now doing all the Peter Franks behavior in all these groups because he shut down Drama Llama.
Yep. And so
Snail trail.
that and I saw somebody, I think it was Karina, said something like he gets sloppy and manic right when the court thing was filed that he hadn't responded to the lawsuit. And yeah, that was all around the same time. And then all of a sudden that also makes me lean towards him doing that email as a last ditch effort to try to disprove other things. I mean, just his behavior in general, the patterns happen all the time. And that's why it was important at the beginning of this live. If you tuned in later, make sure to go back to the beginning and watch this, where we talk about the exact same things happening back in 2018 to 2020.
Well, and there is something going on with his. So the first time he kind of started going super manic was with the lawsuit, right? But like now we just found out that like there was a motion to essentially just like, because his lawyer didn't respond in time, to not dismiss. It was a motion for judgment, pre-approved for judgment, essentially, to just have the judge be like, "Yo, this person never replied, so you know, we win, Justin loses." I think since then there was like an appeal or something like that, and so I don't know what's gonna happen. But it's very possible that the judgment, that they're gonna be able to say like, "Oh, we didn't respond because of XYZ," and it'll go forward to the next stage. But that was when that was going around and everyone was like, "What's going on? Like, why wouldn't his lawyer respond?" You know?
Right. So that is exposing the admin of MME. I mean, this is a guy that is claiming to people it's a safe place to go, that things will be okay if you join this group, but we're seeing the harassment that he's doing to many other people out there, and that is not okay. People need to be aware of what's going on in that group and who is running it, because he is no better than the guy he is trying to shut down.
Yeah. Yep. For a long time, we just kind of were like, you know what, we'll just talk about this kind of stuff that he does, and just try to laugh and like make fun and provide a place where people can all talk about this kind of stuff and other things in our members only lives. The real talk, or shit talking Saturdays now. But our real talk lives, and it's gotten to a point, I think, recently where we had to really sit down and have that conversation about like this should be a public issue. It is a public issue. It affects people. It's not their fault that the algorithms will bring them to his group first.
Yeah.
His group is extremely large. It's the largest anti-MM group that is out there, not because of him, but because of the people that have
That were a
sadly
part
had to
of it.
walk away, away from him because of his actions. And now there's innocent people going there, maybe even befriending him, who don't realize if you say the wrong thing, or try to push back a little, you know, you could be the next victim. So yeah, we're no longer gonna make this not a public issue. Yeah. Thank you for agreeing with us. Because we didn't want to give it that extra. I mean, we give it the attention, but just in like, okay, well, this is entertaining. You know, this is some dark shit that we deal with here, especially in, you know, in the exposing McCamey Manor world. It's some dark shit. So it's nice to have a little something to laugh at and some entertainment, but you got to reel it back sometimes and realize it's actually dangerous. It's actually extremely unhealthy what he is doing, and there could be people that there are people right now, but there could be new people that are become victims of his, and let's nip that in the bud.
Yeah, if you say the wrong thing in his group, he will
Oh,
message your friends and family on Facebook.
Yeah, there was somebody who was in his group, like being really supportive of him, and something must have happened, because then she started asking questions and said something about like, who's Peter Franks. Obviously found one of these other groups. I don't know if it was ours or Tara's or Miranda's or Courtney's. Tara and Courtney like share a group, but still. And then she went back into McCamey Manor and started like posting all this stuff. Like, hey, you have threatened to put people's children's on pedo sites. You've done X, Y, Z. Like, you guys, this is not a good person. So of course he bans her, but then he has to go that step further, right? Because it's Weeble Wobble, and you can't just stop at banning the person. He deletes her post, he bans her, and then contacts this person's, I believe, husband or boyfriend, and said, oh, by the way, I think it was husband, by the way, your wife is cheating on you with my brother-in-law. Like, just something completely random to message this person who he does not know to try to like ruin a marriage. All because she tried to expose the things you really do to other people. It's sick.
Yeah, how many pics of other people's kids does he have on his phone? I have no clue. It's got to be up there. Like,
It's always the kids. Yeah. That's always who he targets. The kid or husbands and wives. It's always a family.
Yeah, like
right?
that last group. Yeah.
I got my comments deleted today. A woman had posted in MME about looking for actors for local to her haunt, and I commented and told her to come to HRT. Right. And then, of course, because you mentioned us, your comment got deleted. Like, that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, if he wants to silence anyone who joins his group from knowing about us, from knowing about the real places to go for, like, the most up-to-date, correct information about important topics, if he wants to silence people calling him out about the horrible things that he does, he can easily do that. Like, that, I would understand. You don't want anyone to know what a piece of shit you are, right? So you block. But taking that next step to then contact somebody, a stranger on the internet, contact their family member to accuse them of cheating on you. It's like, where I'm picturing in his brain, there's like a train, and it's like, you know, going down the track. And then there's like a huge cavern or canyon, and the track disappears, and the train just like dives down and crashes at the bottom. And that's what happens. Like, he's going along, and then has to do something insanely extreme.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, so this probably won't be the last time. I mean, I hope it's enough. I think
would
it's
like
enough.
it to be, but
I know.
it's not going to be.
No, but
We're
it's
realistic.
enough. It's enough information out there for any new subscribers that we get, any new members to our group, to get that info, because we want to focus on everything but this when it comes to our YouTube channel. But it's an important topic people need to be aware in the McCamey Manor world. When you're watching our Rise and Fall series, when you're catching up on anything McCamey Manor related that we discuss here, we do not endorse, condone, or suggest the McCamey Manor exposed group, and it's simply because of the person who is the admin of it and is running it.
I gotta do the voice for this. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling ragers. Oh, and on that note, I think we're going to wrap up for tonight. Thank you, everybody who was in chat tonight, for all being polite and kind and being here with us. Thank you, Carrie and that guy, for modding tonight and making sure everything's going good. Rise and Fall is returning soon. Beginning of September, we will be back on track with new episodes of Rise and Fall. So that should be fun. It'll be fun doing those again. And we got a new look. We're all revamped. And thank you to Bernie once again for the donations tonight. That was very nice of you. If you're still here, thank you. And Brandon Boston, thanks for being up. All of you guys, you have a good night. And if you're a member, we will see you on Saturday. Bye.
Bye.